Good morning, everybody. Chester ARP Church Devotional Podcast. Clint Davis, your host. Thanks for joining us. We'll get started. 1 Kings chapter 12. Just a moment. Mitch brings us in. All right. Well, we're glad to have you with us. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. As we get started this morning, we do so in 1 Kings chapter 12, the story of Jeroboam, who took the northern tribes, the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom outside of Benjamin and Judah, and the split of the kingdom of God, or the kingdom of Israel, I should say, between Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Jeroboam was a son of Nebat. He was an official, a wise man of means, who was given 10 tribes of the kingdom after Solomon and his death because of Rehoboam's folly and because of Solomon's disobedience to the Lord, and then Rehoboam's folly. So the kingdom was divided, not so much as a result of Rehoboam's folly, being harsh, but more so because of Solomon's disobedience to the Lord and his refusal to be faithful to God. We pick this story up here in 1 Kings chapter 12, beginning in verse 26. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim and lived there. And he went out from there and built Peniel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, "Now the kingdom will turn back to the house of David, if this people go up to offer sacrifices in the temple of the Lord at Jerusalem. Then the heart of this people will turn again to their Lord, to Rehoboam king of Judah. And they will kill me and return to Rehoboam king of Judah." So the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. And he said to the people, "You have gone up to Jerusalem long enough. Behold your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." And he set one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. Then this thing became a sin, for the people went as far as Dan to be before one. He also made temples on high places and appointed priests from among the people who were not of the Levites. And Jeroboam appointed a feast in the 15th day of the 8th month, like the feast that was in Judah. And he offered sacrifices on the altar. So he did in Bethel, sacrificing to the calves that he made. And he placed in Bethel the priest of the high places that he had made. And he went up to the altar that he had made in Bethel on the 15th day of the 8th month, and the month that he had devised from his own heart. And he instituted a feast for the people of Israel, and went up to the altar to make offerings. So what Jeroboam basically does, it sets up a contrasting religion, a religion that's not so much, I shouldn't say contrasting, but competitive, a religion that's competing with the religion in Jerusalem, the religion God had given to his people. He goes so far as not only to have high places of worship, he has idols that they're to offer sacrifices to those gods who are represented by those idols. And he also goes so far as to have a contrasting feast, or a competing feast with the feast that takes place in Jerusalem that is meant to celebrate. The feast in Jerusalem is meant to celebrate God's faithfulness to his people in delivering them from the hand of the Egyptians. Here he sets up a feast to mimic or to compete with the feast in Jerusalem. And the reason he does this is because he's afraid. He's afraid that if the people of God, the people of Israel, go back to Jerusalem, are reconnected to their past, reconnected to their God, reconnected to their worship, reconnected to their ancestry, reconnected to their fellow Israelites in the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, then they will turn away from him, and they will return to King Rehoboam, and they will return to unify Israel once again. And Jeroboam does not want that to happen, because Jeroboam wants nothing more than to control the people. He wants to be in leadership. And so he sets this competitive religion up that mimics the religion that the people of God have always known in Jerusalem. Now, he does this because he's afraid that he's going to lose their loyalty. He's afraid he's going to lose his power. He's afraid he's going to lose his kingdom. There's several things I want to take from this. We could really dive into this in great depth here. But just off the surface, there's a couple things. Number one, I think it's important to note that Jeroboam leads the people astray. And we can look at this and say, poor Israel. The 10 tribes were given into his hand. Poor Israel. But we said before, when we were looking at Solomon led them astray, and they followed willingly. These people refused the yoke of God's kingdom, God's king over them, and they rebelled against King Rehoboam. Now, Rehoboam was foolish, but even after Solomon died, they rebelled against Rehoboam, and they made Jeroboam their king. So they had rebellious spirits, they had idolatrous spirits, and so they followed suit. These weren't people who were sitting here and poor, taken advantage of by a man in power, oppressed people taken advantage of by a man in power. These were people who willingly went along with Jeroboam, and so their hearts chased after foreign gods. After all, this is what they had been doing during the end of Solomon's reign. This is why they were disciplined. This is why they had hardship brought upon them, because they refused to follow the Lord faithfully. So we have to recognize that they aren't just simply led astray. These people are complicit in this sinful acts of idolatry. They go, as we're told in the passage, that this becomes sin. They go and all these different places. They take effort to go and offer these sacrifices. They have fully embraced this cult of Jeroboam's creation. And I think that's important. I think the second thing, as you note here, is that Jeroboam doesn't want the people to be reconnected to their past, to their belief system, to their family structure, to their genealogy. He wants them to ignore the past so that he can control them in the present and move forward, because he's afraid, right, if they go back down to Jerusalem and are reconnected to their belief system, reconnected to their God, reconnected to their ancestry, reconnected to their culture, reconnected to their religion, then they are going to, right, return. They're going to find affinity there. They're going to return to Rehoboam, and he's going to lose authority and leadership over them. I don't have to really point too many fingers here. I think you can make the jump pretty easily to what's going on in our world. We have leaders who don't want us to think about the past, who want to tell us the past is terrible and get rid of the past and tear down everything that represents the past and reminds us of that, wants us to quit emphasizing our belief system, our faith, our religion, and our family structures and become one big conglomerate of people who don't have that individuality, that individual history, and those belief systems in their past. There's a reason why people in leadership don't want you to do that. And the reason they don't want us to do that is because they don't want us to be reconnected to our past and to potentially see the error in the current leadership's direction. And I think that's important for us as well, to be mindful of that. There's a reason why we're rooted in the past, and there's a reason why people in the modern world don't want us to be rooted in the past. Because if we're not rooted in the past, then we're likely to be tugged along as they want us to go in the direction they want us to go, rather than think, wait a minute, no, we're going to return to what once was. Hey, listen, I'm out of time. You have a great day. God bless you. Pray for yourselves. Pray for your king. Pray for our world. Pray that we stay faithful. Pray for the church, and pray for our leaders. You guys take care. God bless you. I'll see you next time.
Your goodness and mercy will follow.